Welcome to Hafa, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye. Oh, for a die Guam. Hear that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map. Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Cap. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Ha good nya tutu mon. Everybody has one. No wish on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Guam unfiltered. Hafa Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy. Sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true sika, yeah, we deliver. Hafa Guam unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo, Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya tutumon, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam unfiltered. Everybody now, one filtered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gagao and Matapang strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Half an hour, Guam. Time to go.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Hafa day and good morning, Guam. Welcome to the Hafa Hour with Bistra. Today I'm very excited to present to you one of our current senators, Mr. Will. We have a great and exciting show for you today because we have another announcement to make at a later point. But before we do that special announcement, let me start with introducing Mr. Parkinson, and I will let you tell us who you are. Who were you before you became a senator? Because we want to know more about the man behind the title. So please feel free to introduce.
Well, Hafa day, Guam. My name is Senator Will Parkinson. I'm the son of former Speaker Don Parkinson, and I was raised here on Guam since I was 3 years old. I was born in the Manila, Philippines, and I moved to Guam when I was 3. I learned all my English in the public schools of Guam, and I graduated from George Washington High School, public school my entire life. When I was growing up, I always dreamed of becoming a firefighter and a lawyer someday. And so when I had an opportunity to, day after graduation, I moved to Moscow, Idaho to become a wildland firefighter while I studied as a student at the University of Idaho. And I was out there for 9 seasons as a firefighter, and could have gone a lot longer. I was still going through my schooling over there, but my father got really sick with advanced Parkinson's disease. So I had to withdraw from school on sabbatical so I could come home to take care of my father. You know, my father was a 100% disabled veteran from the Vietnam War. And so, you know, I helped him with his VA appointments. I was his caretaker. And, you know, one of the things I saw was when I was helping him, you know, I was someone who was pretty tech savvy, who, you know, knew how to work the computers and the system, so I was able to help my dad through all that. But I noticed that there were a lot of veterans who did not have that support system. It made me really concerned about how many of them are falling through the cracks.
Yeah.
And I also ran my family's business here, which was a small family pawn shop. And you know, I met a lot of people who were pawning their precious heirlooms and stuff, trying to make it to just the next paycheck, you know. And you could only see that for so long before it inspires you to service in some sort, to help the common family and to help our veterans who are going through these problems. And so that's what inspired me to run for the first time in 2018. I didn't quite make it. And since that time, you know, I got married, grew a family, you know, just gave birth to my second daughter, Cassandra Lorraine.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you
We
very
know
much.
that you guys went through a lot of stressful time with the pregnancy, and all is well now?
Yeah, all is well now, 10 fingers, 10 toes. The only thing we got left is to wait for my baby's passport to come in so we can bring her home, because you know she's still currently in the Philippines, and we're actually worried about them getting stuck over there because of the energy emergency due to the Iran war. So my mom she was actually supposed to go down there for a 1-month trip. You know, we got her a ticket for her birthday to go see the new baby, because my baby and my mom have the same birthday. You know?
Oh, wow.
And so, but instead of it turning into a nice 1-month family trip down there, it's kind of turning into a rescue mission, because we're afraid that, you know, if the flights and stuff get canceled, I don't want my wife stuck over there with both of the children. You know, I want to have at least one of them over here so I can help take some of the child rearing load off of her and help out, and hopefully get them over there before the country runs out of fuel. Hopefully, knock on wood, the country doesn't run out of fuel at all, but be able to resolve something. But you know, we got to plan for the worst case scenario.
Absolutely. Always have to be prepared for the worst.
Yeah. And so after I met my wife and got married, I went through COVID. The struggles were still there, and so in 2022 I decided to run again, you know, to tip my hat in for public service, and the people of Guam took a chance on me. They gave me their trust, and so I try to work hard every day to be worthy of that trust.
Yeah, and you actually, I remember your campaign, it went viral at the point, right? But let's say, okay, how the heck did you do that clip?
Oh man, well, it was actually something that was inspired by a conversation I had with Senator Clint Rigel. At the time, Senator Clint Rigel and I, we both ran for the 36th Guam legislature. And I was not fortunate enough to make it, but he was. And so when I ran for the 37th, I wanted to, you know, avail myself of his wisdom. And so while I was like asking him for advice and pointers on how to run a proper campaign, I asked him about waving. And I was like, hey, does the waving thing work, or am I wasting my time? You know, like what's the 411 on that? And he was like, no, it's not a waste of the time. You know, the people appreciate it. They get to see you, and they want to see that you'll be willing to suffer for them. That
And
you're willing.
humble yourself.
Yeah,
in a
humble
sense,
yourself. And at that time when I made that viral bush video,
The bush
video, yeah, it was 4th of July weekend. And because it was a 3-day weekend, I was like, okay, this is a perfect opportunity to get all my signs up. And over that 3-day weekend, we had put up somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50 to 60 signs.
Wow.
Just an incredible amount of work over
Yeah,
that weekend.
yeah.
And the entire weekend, it rained.
It rained.
Monsoon rained the entire time. And, you know, we were there putting up the last sign, and I was like, we're finally done. But I was there standing in the bush in the rain on 4th of July weekend, and I'm like, I am suffering here.
I need to tell you about it.
So I gave my wife my cell phone, and I'm like, hit record on this. I got something to say. And we did that in one take. Just because I wanted people to know that I was willing to do this ridiculous amount of labor because I was because that's how much I cared and wanted the job. And ultimately, you know, people want to know who you are. They want to know what you're going to do. And most importantly, they want to know that they can trust you when they're not looking.
Yeah.
And you know, if you know that I'm willing to go out there, get in the bush, do all of this just to get the job, you can trust that when you're not looking, I'm working hard behind the scenes to deliver. And I like to think that my freshman term is a good testament to that. I produced 17 new laws in my first term, 2 substantive resolutions. Only had 1 bill fail on the floor, so I was like 19 for 20. I believe that is a freshman senator record.
I think so.
Previous,
that's impressive.
The
for
previous
first
one, I
term.
believe, was held by Senator Terlahi in her freshman year. I believe she passed like 13. And so I even went back in history, saw how much my dad did. My dad in his peak years wiped the floor on the numbers I was putting out, but he didn't get to that until like his 3rd term. The first couple terms he was like on the
Learning curve?
on the learning curve,
Okay.
yeah. But here in the legislature, when I came in, it was a big change election. I believe we had 5 or 6 new senators. So there was a vacuum. There was an opportunity for, you know, younger senators to step up and be an immediate impact.
I think this is what's going to happen. This
And
next
that's why I think this next election is so important. At minimum, we have 4 senators who have declared for
Yeah.
governor in some capacity,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
a 5th or a 6th.
Yeah.
And so at minimum, there's going to be 4 new seats. That's an opportunity for new people to come in and have an immediate impact, because the bigger the change election, the more impact new faces can have. And you know, we're not going to have a new legislature, we're going to have a new governor. You know, the congressional races every 2 years as well.
Yeah.
And
Complete renewal of leadership.
complete renewal
Yeah.
of leadership.
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity for Guam to really put their stamp on what the next governments are going to look like.
And please come out and
And
vote.
so please come out and vote. And please come out and run. You know, it's not too late for people out there to put their hat in the ring and come out for public service. You know, we need more people from working class families to be represented in the legislature. I myself, you know, I think I'm the only millennial on the legislature. We need different age groups
Right
that
now,
are
yeah.
represented. We need different ways of thinking to be represented.
Well, we do have some very young candidates that I know of. That's Mateo Mortera. We have they're quite young. I think they're even younger than you. So
Yeah,
we have
and
we
that's
have that interest.
That's a
Yeah.
good sign, because you know, I respect the work of all the people who have come before me, but we need young people to step
Absolutely,
up.
I
We
agree.
need young people
And we
to
need
step up.
you, the young voters, pay attention, because today you don't feel it, but when you live a little bit longer and you start working hard, and when your paycheck is not enough, you're going to start asking questions. If you get involved today, hit 18, go register, vote, and build and create that future for for you, yourself, your family, and your future kids, because if they're not here yet, it doesn't mean they're not going to be there in 5, 10, maybe 15 years, depending. So pay attention, get involved, run for office. Do run for office. You can create and build the future that you envision. I think that's a good message to send to the youngsters.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was growing up, I was told the message, go out and change the world, this very big, ambitious message.
Yeah.
But, when I look back on it, if I was in that same position, it's giving advice to people who were coming up, I'm not telling kids to go out and change the world. Like, if you want to go change the world, God bless you, and good luck on that journey. But I think the thing that's more achievable and more important and more long lasting is if a young person could build a community. Build a community around yourself, build a family, have friends, have people in the neighborhood that know your face and know who you are. Building a community, I think, enriches everybody in the community and the place that community is happening to.
And taking care of that community.
And taking care of that
because
community.
we see so many people out there who just really don't care what their neighborhood looks like. Sometimes what their backyard looks like. And it brings down, the morale of the community.
When I was growing up, the thing that I came to understand was, as I got older, was that when you're not in that frame of mind to put down roots or start a family, you don't really care for what's happening so much in your local government. When I was going to college, I knew that was a transient experience, and like I probably wasn't going to be starting my family there. So I had no care about what happens in local government, even though it deeply affected my day-to-day living.
I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah, we're all guilty of it. But once I came home to Guam and I made the commitment that this was where I'm going to plant my roots, this is where I'm going to make my home, suddenly that's when I started to care about who was on the Board of Education, what the road conditions were like, what the economy was like, because I knew now this is my community.
How healthcare is.
Yeah.
Correct.
And, and even with all the challenges of Guam, instead of moving, I decided to dig my roots even deeper, come out for public service, and make Guam as great as I could possibly make it.
Yeah.
Because I think there is a potential for greatness in Guam that's already there. We just got to allow it to thrive and to explore itself.
I can concur with that, because as someone that wasn't born and raised in Guam, I arrived here at 23 years of age, and I've traveled to many countries. I'm familiar with a lot of different cultures, ethnicities, way of life, and I can attest to the fact that our local Guamanians as a whole, I'm not going to say just the Chamorro people, but everybody who placed roots here, we kind of are engulfed in a local culture that, yes, stems from the Inafumalek and Hafa Day spirit, of course, but once you plant the roots here, you kind of get that and absorb it, and you do feel that warmth and sense of familial ties and communities and good neighborhoods where everybody gets together. You've seen numerous times, probably right after a typhoon, how people go out and check each other's backyards and they help their neighbors. So this is something that you rarely see out there in the world, particularly in the Western world.
Yeah, it's becoming rare now with social media and stuff, but that's why I think it's so important for people to build community. It's not only good for you and good for everybody, it's a sign of your commitment to where you live. And as a public servant, the biggest commitment I could make is this is where I'm choosing to raise my family. When I came into this job, I didn't have any kids, but since I've been here, I've had 2 children. That is how deep my commitment is, that I'm going to willingly raise my own children here, put them through the same public schools, through the same trials and tribulations as everyone else. And so I have all the incentive in the world to make the island as best as I can, so when they come up, they get the best experiences possible. One of the things that, one of the reasons I'm so passionate about cooperating with whoever is governor to build a new hospital is my wife had to have our second baby in the Philippines
Yeah.
because of concerns about her need for specialty care.
And we know that specialty care is severely lacking here, and we hear it now in the news, this whole bill that just got passed, and about the foreign trained doctors. Now is becoming this, again, tug of war, because I guess the medical community doesn't agree with certain, I guess, portions of the
Yeah.
bill. At the end of the day, the more doctors we can attract here, particular specialists,
Yeah.
the better.
One of the big problems on Guam is brain drain, where all of our
Yeah.
people who have talent and ability, they get poached off island and they
Oh, yeah.
leave for better opportunities. Well, this is an opportunity to get brain drain working in our favor. Somebody else can feed, provision, raise, train up this doctor, and we can have them come over here and share the fruits of their labor with us, with providing the specialty care that we don't have here. My first daughter was born here on Guam. I would have loved to have both of them be born here on Guam, but because of the lack of specialty care, the lack of quality
Yeah.
in our current hospital at
Right.
GMH,
Yeah.
I'm willing to work with any governor to build a hospital as soon as possible. You know, so that's why I'm really hopeful that whoever the next governor is, that they want to build a hospital because you know, we need one. We were told more than 5 years ago that our hospital had a 5-year lifespan,
Yeah.
and we're looking to throw more money behind that hospital when it's like, no, we need to move on from that. And it doesn't matter where it goes, let's build one.
I agree.
Granted, my position on that has shifted a little bit with nuance because of our geopolitical situation. I used to believe that, hey, build a hospital anywhere. If the next governor wants to build it into Mooning and the current one hasn't gotten any movement on it, fine, I will support that governor. But at the same time, I think there is a little bit of nuance that we need to consider as a frontline island here on in the Pacific. It is entirely possible that if there is a war in Taiwan between China and Taiwan, that all the exercises and projections show that there will be an attack on Guam as well.
Yeah.
And so, if that's the case, you know, there is a city planning. There is a national interest on Guam to not perhaps put all of our health care in one concentrated position.
I see.
Because
Kind of spread it, so
yes.
if something gets hit, we will have backup plan and
Yeah.
backup clinic.
Because one of the reasons the military is willing to pay up for a new hospital, it's not because of they're better angels about it.
Right, but they're gonna need the hospital
Because
too.
they're going to need the
Let's
hospital
be honest
too.
about that,
They have there's
I think Navy is actually very small capacity compared to the
Yeah.
other two. So
they need mass casualty centers. That's
Right,
what
right.
it is in case
There
of
it is.
in case of some sort of
Yeah.
event. They need mass casualty centers that they don't have the current capacity to handle. And you know, we've seen in these modern wars that civilian infrastructure is not always off the table. Sometimes it gets hit. And-
Most of the time, civilian casualties are more than
Yeah,
military
I've never seen a war where there was
it's
civilian.
vice versa.
Yeah, I've never seen a war where
absolutely
it's,
agree.
and so to that extent, I will still support any governor to build a hospital, even if they want to build it into Mooning. But I would say let's have a reasonable conversation about, you know, maybe spreading out our critical infrastructure in case that Guam is ever attacked. We don't want all of our infrastructure to.
On
be
that,
destroyed.
didn't we have a conversation about building clinics in the villages that can take care of some of that burden?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that there's a real opportunity with a lot of the infrastructure that Guam needs to build to also double as civilian defense shelters. One of the big things that I pushed and had failed to succeed in getting through the legislature was, you know, a resolution to ask Congress to fully fund civilian defense, fund civilian defense shelters, do training drills, have essential stockpiles of food, medicine, and fuel.
You know, I just introduced a bill on my website a proposal for a bill that kind of ties into that, where we gonna give supplies for emergency preparedness, emergency to the people, and to skip the procurement process is going to be like a grant. So we don't have to worry about procurement issue at all. So similar to when grants are given to the farmers, to start their garden, something like that in the form of grant to completely erase that hurdle. And I believe in preparedness.
Yeah.
I
No,
strongly
I
believe
agree.
in preparedness.
While I agree that there should be provisions to help people prepare on an individual level, the United States Congress and the United States government, they have an obligation to Guam to fully fund those things here as well.
And FEMA should be involved
And they should
in
be
that.
involved.
It's a preventative a strategy, meaning, preparedness, but it's preventative because let's assume the worst happens. We have 2 weeks food on the shelves. Until help arrives, it's always 30 to 60 days.
Yeah.
So we need to
At least
ensure
have
ourselves
that much
for
that
that
we can
window.
survive for that window.
Absolutely.
No, and so we need to, and Congress has an obligation to fund that. They build missile defense systems, but missile defense systems are for the bases and the military.
Yeah.
Civilian shelters, that's for the people, and the people need it. And they do exercises with Japan. They do exercises with all their allies regarding these things. For one of their own territories, they should have this infrastructure built in. And this doesn't necessarily mean, bomb shelters all over the place. The more effective use in today's age is to actually do dual use facilities. So you think instead of a bomb shelter, you have a community center, but you have the specs of the community center such that the center room is reinforced so people can use it as a bomb shelter in times of emergency. Same thing with schools or new buildings. You build that resiliency into the code. It's going to make things more expensive, obviously, but at the same time, these small regulations could change the things that we are already building into dual use facilities so that we can use it in times of emergency. If everybody knows where the community center is and they know that the community center is reinforced, it makes it a no-brainer for people to run there if they're stuck outside.
I think that's just one piece of the puzzle, and unfortunately, I strongly feel that we are kind of way too late for that.
We are way too late for it.
We need to, it's a good idea, and is there a comprehensive defense plan, like Homeland Security? Do we have any guidance on their end? Because I just spoke with Senator Tello last 2 weeks ago, and we did discuss something in that sense where Homeland Security is not even there with the preparedness.
The plan is basically shelter in place.
And what does that mean? Like bombs start falling, shelter
our
in place,
concrete house is our best. And I also think the United States government has a responsibility with this too for these reinforced shelters outside of the base, because a lot of their own service members live outside the base. The family members of the service members themselves, not to mention the people of Guam, we're all exposed out here. We're all exposed out here. I remember when I was a younger man and I visited like foreign countries, I remember I went to Beijing once and I went into a bookstore, look for a little travel guide while I was out there, in the age before like smartphones were super ubiquitous. And while I was walking in, they had an air raid shelter designation for their basement.
No, I lived in a country where we had bomb shelters everywhere in the city.
Everywhere, yeah.
So I'm not new to the idea, quite opposite.
Yeah.
I support that. It's just that we always have this habit of reactionary leadership. We react to things instead of plan and prepare.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I'm trying to get the preparedness in now. We don't we shouldn't be doing the things during an emergency. We need to be doing it beforehand. While things are calm, put in the emergency procedures.
Correct.
Because if you try to figure out the emergency procedures while they're happening, it's never going to be a success.
Sometimes it's way too late. Absolutely agree. But speaking of politics and legislation, do you have any current pending legislation that you're working on?
Any current pending legislation? Well, the big conversation we're trying to have right now is about power credits with this energy crisis we have. There is not an appetite in the legislature to really entertain the power credits. You know, that's one of the side effects of the change in leadership from the last election. Under the Democratic Party, we used 130 million worth of surplus excess revenue, money that we didn't expect to have because more taxes were collected than we budgeted for. Instead of using that to grow government, we decided to give it directly back to the people in the form of the credits.
Yeah.
And the reason we gave those credits was when the war in Ukraine and Russia started, we had a severe energy shock where price of oil went to as high as $120 a barrel. For reference, we're roughly at around $110, $115 a barrel in our current energy crisis.
And I hear we might hit $225 a barrel.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the economics and geopolitics talks out there.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we hit 150 to 200 a barrel. It's significant.
Yeah.
Our fuel costs here on Guam are going up significantly. The CCU just had a meeting on it. Our monthly fuel bill for GPA has gone from 24 million to 60 million a month. So for people referencing at home, our current LEAC right now is 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Because of the war in Iran, our LEAC is going to go up to 33 or 34 cents a kilowatt hour. When we did the power credits during the last energy crisis, and we did it for like 18 months, that was when the price for kilowatt hour was like 31 cents. So the energy shock we're seeing now is more than the last one we did. And we might not have the opportunity to do it because while the power credits were temporary measure until we got the Ukudu power plant put into place, and thank God we got that power plant put into place, because if we didn't, the oil shock we would be seeing would be to go to 50 cents per kilowatt hour. Just
so in essence,
apocalyptic numbers.
Absolutely agree, and that also begs the question: how are we on our plan to be energy efficient and sustainable? You know, move away from the oil. I know that we have the solar plants, but then there were also talks about nuclear reactor plant, which is not a bad idea because a lot of that energy is being produced in Europe right now, and even in my country, we had 2 stations. One is down, and we immediately felt the repercussions. We immediately felt the price difference, and now they're unfortunately some of the spare parts need to come from Russia because that was old school built. We're having trouble with getting those spare parts, so that it puts a lot of stress on the energy production. But and at the same time, I'm also a survivor of the Chernobyl explosion because that went through our country, and we were actually May 1st we were having this big manifestation for Labor Day, and it rained hard on anyone, and that was the nuclear rainfall.
Yeah, and you know, even for myself, I'm nuclear curious. I'm not a yes, but I'm not a no as well.
I think what I hear is
let's explore all options.
Yeah.
Even if to say no to the options, we should still explore all the options. I've always been a big believer in, you know, using facts and logic and reason to come to a position and not come from an emotional place. You know?
Because you know, at first I was like, maybe that's not a good idea because I have the PTSD syndrome, you know, from nuclear. But the more I'm looking at the current developments and our dependency, it's ridiculous dependency on that oil and gas, the more I'm convinced that we need to completely shift gear. We have to do something different.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's going to come out of this war in Iran is going to be a shift in how the world organizes itself in a pretty profound way. And I think what's coming is instead of a world where we are trying to maximize efficiency of our trade routes, we are looking to make our our local governments more resilient, more self-sufficient, more survivable to change.
Yeah.
And so Guam needs to have some serious conversations with itself, because we get something like 95% of all of our goods imported
Yeah.
by ship.
I
You
don't
know, we
know.
are completely at the
Yeah.
we are completely at the mercy of the supply chain.
Absolutely.
And we are potentially moving into a world where those supply chains need to be hardened by some local resiliency.
Absolutely, that was and has been and it still is the core of my platform issues, because I saw it during COVID. I saw what happens when you got no more shipments.
I believe on the solar front that GPA, from the last I heard from them, that they're ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So, you know, I will give a lot of credit to GPA in the sense that they're not the same GPA that, you know, was there during my father's time. You
Right.
know, I fully expected to come in and fight with GPA when I got in, because that's, you know, that's what Parkinsons do with GPA.
We fight.
But you know, when malware came down and load shedding was starting to take over the island, instead of fighting with GPA about it, I decided to work with GPA about them. You know, like, tell me, what do you need so that we can fix this problem? And they needed you know, temporary energy. You know, they got these smaller generators to come in and help supplement. And because of the cooperation and working with GPA, we expedited legislation to fast track these generators. And because of that, we were able to stop load shedding. You know, it was something we hadn't seen in 20 years, and people were real mad about it.
I
And,
remember those
yeah,
things
I
too,
remember
so-
it, yeah. And no, we took
Nothing
it
new.
seriously, and with cooperation, we were able to end the problem. You know, we don't have that problem anymore, you know. We got complaints about our power bill, but the power is coming consistently. So I think that's a testament to GPA, and you know, they should be commended. They are doing some good things.
Would you be in support of privatizing GPA?
They're pretty much mostly privatized. They're like 95%
Yeah, but still,
privatized.
it's a government, you know, funded.
I'm in favor of anything that will make the process work better. And if 100% privatization would help GPA get better, I'm open to that conversation.
Right.
But for whatever reason, the current trappings of government they have are useful enough to GPA that they have not asked to remove them all. And so I'm not against the idea of privatizing for GPA, but I do recognize that they're mostly almost all the way there. And so if they want to go to a privatized model and it would be better for everyone involved, I'm open to that conversation. But let's have the conversation. Like, what is the feasibility
Yeah,
of it?
simply drawing on the experience from GTA, based completely on that. You know, when we privatized GTA, here we go, another competitor to the other two. Actually, no, did that happen? GTA before Docomo arrived on island?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. But the more competition, it was more useful for the end consumer. So completely drawing. But anyways, let's move on to my a question that I mentioned to you earlier. Do you have a favorite bill that you've ever introduced, like something you're most proud of, and of course the least favorite bill that you've worked on?
I think my favorite bill might be the first bill I passed through the legislature. Not only because it was, you know, first time is always special, right? But because of what the bill tried to do. It was an expansion of SNAP benefits. So people who had previously had nonviolent felonies would be able to take advantage of the SNAP system, you know. And I was very proud of that legislation because, you know, I'm a Catholic. You know, I was raised Catholic. I have a tattoo of the cross on my forearm. You know, once upon a time I wanted to become a priest. But,
Really?
Yeah, but when I was 18, I wanted to become a priest. But because I was not allowed to have a family, I couldn't take that step.
You should have converted to Orthodox because they're allowed to have family.
But that for me was the deal breaker. But I've always been naturally curious about religion because of it. But you know, as a Catholic, you know, some of the core tenets we have are feed the hungry, heal the sick, welcome the stranger. And so for somebody, and the power of forgiveness to turn a person's life around. And so with that one bill, I was able to feed people that were hungry, make the community a better place, and show some sort of forgiveness to people who had committed wrongs in the past but were trying to do better in the future. I'd heard stories from people who was like, I've been on the straight and narrow for 10 years. I've turned my life around. I've got two kids now. I got a loving family, and I just want some help in being able to feed them. And as a Catholic, how can I not be moved by stories like that of people trying to turn around, looking for forgiveness,
Redemption is
looking
very important.
looking for redemption. And I think it's an important message to send to the community that if you have an open heart, that you're really trying to redeem yourself, that your community and your government will be here to support you in doing that. And I think that's kind of like my ethos in a nutshell. Is I see government as a power and a force for good that common people can go into and make a difference in their community. And that's why it's not the biggest, most earth-shattering bill in the world, but it's important. For me, that's why it's one of my favorites, because
I see. It hit the string that you I guess you deeply care within yourself. So I completely understand. But I'm sorry, we're going to have to make a special announcement.
Before we do that, you have one person who did want to reinforce and ask some questions.
Oh, sure.
So this is for the senator, Pacific Brown. They are genuinely curious, not upset, but curious. They looked at your record and legislation, and what they weren't really able to find bills that support families in terms of cost of living, and they would like to know how, and I'll read it directly, okay? Guam is losing people faster than can replace them, and families aren't leaving, they want to. They aren't leaving because they want to, they're leaving because they can't afford to stay. After reviewing Senator Parkinson's legislative record, I found no bills aimed at lowering the cost of living, raising wages, expanding affordable housing, or providing real relief for working families. These are the core drivers of out-migration, yet they remain addressed. I could be wrong, and perhaps I am, and this is not an attack. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, well, in terms of lowering the cost of living for working families, the most immediate tool I had at my disposal was the power credits. We had used about $130 million worth of public funds directly back to the people in their pockets to help with the cost of living crisis.
And it's again on the table,
and-
so
and- and it's-
I guess that would answer that question, because literally Senator Parkinson did work on that, and he fought hard for that power credit, which all of us avail to, and he's fighting his colleagues right now. So
Yeah,
I think that's
and there's other things that I'd wished I'd been able to help on, like it wasn't my legislation, but it was actually Senator Chris Dueñas's, was to expand the ADUs so people
yes.
can be able to build on their land. And so we were that's what I was saying about community, family helping each other, and we using the power of the government to remove the laws and the barriers that prevented that from being able to be done. That's why.
I just want to explain something to the audience here. What generally people don't understand is that when you work in a team at the legislature, it's a team effort. So regardless whether a bill was introduced by a particular senator, that senator needs 8 other people to support that bill. And although something wasn't authored by, for example, Mr. Parkinson, when he supports his colleagues to bring forth and adopt the new law, that also counts. So maybe if you're curious enough to see what law got passed, go and see who voted yes or no.
Yeah, and that's something that'd be something I would tell people is, it's not always about what your individual accolades are. I'm very proud of the bills I was able to put out, but the legislative work, the work of the legislature is ultimately a group project. You need 8 votes to do it. So if you really want to get a great understanding of the values of the people who are senators, look at their voting record on all the bills, not just the bills that they authored, but bills that other people authored. You can really get an understanding for what matters for your elected officials by looking at what they vote for, what they vote against, what they argue for, how they argue, what they say. Like these are all, and I don't want to put the burden of people doing the homework on their candidates, but as citizens, we should do our homework on our candidates and see what they are voting on and what they are supporting.
Absolutely.
And so, I take the point that my current slate of bills has a particular focus, but those were things that I promised, during the campaign, and I want to deliver on the things that I promised. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe in all those other things. We have separation of committees for a reason, because if one person tried to do everything, they would just
It's impossible.
It's impossible. It's
No.
impossible.
You
And
can't
so,
build all
we
of
all
them, yeah.
have our committees, our areas of focus. But at the same time, when Senator Joe St. Augustine introduces legislation to put solar farms in, I'll support that legislation. When Senator Terlahi puts out legislation to promote justice in underserved communities, I'm going to support that legislation. When Senator Sabina Perez is going to put out environmental legislation, I'm going to support that legislation as well. When Senator Chris Barnett is going to put out legislation to make our schools better, we're going to vote for that as well, because legislative work is a group project, and so you really got to look at the team of people that you're going to put in. Support your favorite senators. Absolutely, please vote for me at home. But at the same time, you got to look at the people that surround them, because it is a group effort. Nobody is ever able to do anything alone by themselves.
Absolutely.
That's why we get into government, because we want to use the power of our collective will to get things done. And ultimately, I think the best thing that helps with our cost of living is, for one thing, we need to have jobs that are here. Particularly, I don't think it's enough to have jobs locally, but we also need to have jobs that you can sustain families on. I was speaking earlier that the thing that that got me politically engaged, was when I wanted to start a family and put down roots. So if we are able to provide jobs that people can build families on, I think that will be a big cure to the political apathy that we have, to the low voter turnout we have. When people aren't engaged, when they're not rooted in the community, they're not going to care. And that shows up in our voter registration numbers, that shows up in how many people actually show up to vote. And so, but I think if we had the jobs here where people can build families and start to care about what happens in the neighborhood, we will get voter participation up.
Right. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is exactly that. We have a very special 2 new candidates who are aiming to do exactly that. Pull you guys out of your shell. All those of you voters that have not been interested in participating in the election process because you are tired of empty promises. You are tired of same people going into office with ties to certain political families, no pun intended here. But there is a group of people that just doesn't believe in the process anymore. So today we have Mr. Jeff Pleadwell and Mr. Charlie Hermosa, who just announced this morning their candidacy for the governor's seat in Ataluk. So please join me, gentlemen.
I will.
Congratulations and good luck, sir. Congratulations and good luck.
Let's fit us in there. Whoa. Here?
So here we are. What a day. I know a lot of people didn't believe you guys because it's April 1st. However, you are dead serious about this. Do tell us about your plans.
Well, it is April Fool's Day, and we are going down to the Election Commission after this, and we're going to get our packets and pick it up and start working on that. And it is kind of cool that it's April Fool's, because all you people out there have been fooled for years by all these political promises and all these things that everybody says they're going to do for the island. But yet, here I am running 40 years later because nothing has gone forward. I mean, the prison, the hospital, the roads, you name it, it's still huge Guam employment, 85 cents on the dollar spent on labor, but the island isn't progressing. People are leaving. And Charlie and I, being independent, we feel that we can listen to you and privatize some things if that's what it needs, or do whatever it takes to make things happen, not be stopped because of the parties.
No, and one of the things that we have said, even just in our Sunday podcast, is the fact that we've been very transparent, very unfiltered. And I will be very transparent with you right now to the fact that it wasn't until a few days ago where I made the final decision, and it was out of frustration, because if you look at what's going on in the world, you know, one of the things that I teach is the fact that Guam sits at the whipping end of what happens at the supply chain. We're always kind of receiving in the end. Well, we know it's coming, but there's nothing happening. And that was a frustration. The fact that we don't see anything, there's no adjustment, there's no signs of anybody running around and saying, listen, we got you. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to help you. There's nothing there. It just seems like everybody's going through their day. Everything's okay, but everything's not okay. And through that frustration, I agreed to run with Jeff under the independent party. The reason being is because it's not about the right, it's not about the left, it's about the people. It's about the people that we want to serve and the change that we want to bring to Guam.
Yes, the quality of life, that's what we're after. If we had all nice highways with sidewalks and a new hospital, and we fix the prison, and we fix rehab, because we have so many people addicted to ice, and we have so many mental health problems here, we need to really concentrate on doing that. And with Charlie and I, we will spend your tax money making these things better, not working on pet projects or perpetuating our relatives or our party or our favorite vendors or whatever. Your money is going to be spent on what you need as a people. Education, I really
One second. Okay. You may continue. Go ahead.
you have a trade, or you don't have to come out of high school and just join the military. I really want to see us grow fruit and grow produce on Guam. I want to see a fishing industry. I want people to have jobs in manufacturing, which is like a very big advantage to us, right?
1 second, Jeff. Can I tell you? Your signal is gone.
Hey, that's technology for you. Yeah, I don't work, so it does.
GPA.
Deep state is after you.
Oh, yes,
The deep
the deep state.
Okay, let's go. Okay, we're back now. Go ahead, you continue.
Yeah, we lost you for a sec, but we're back. We want to see the power to always be consistent. We're tired of seeing all the outages and the fluctuations that ruin your appliances. We see the poles on the road that are all crooked and ungrounded. We want to put everything underground. And I talked to an engineer friend of mine who just came here from Saipan, and she's going to be at Public Works to develop a system under the sidewalk where all your utilities stay. And it's easy to get at. And the sidewalks are important because people need exercise. People riding bikes, we need a wide sidewalk so they can ride their bikes, because it's dangerous out there. But everything you need and want That's what we're going to work on, and we're actually going to do it. We're not going to be slowed down by politics because we are not politicians. We are business people and concerned residents who have lived here a long time and just want it better for everybody.
Yeah, no, when we just had a conversation this morning and somebody brought up the fact that said, you know, I don't think Guam has a money issue. It's a management issue. And I think that when you look at the amount of money that we have going through our circuit, we should have a lot more to represent our island. And so I've actually had some very good conversations with the good senator in regards to taxes. And it's not about not paying taxes. Obviously, I'm for not paying taxes at all. But if we do pay taxes, we want every single dollar to work. And that is the part that we're not seeing it. From a business perspective, we look at the cents because the margins that we work off are super tight. And one of the things that we want to do is be able to ensure that we employ as many people as we can. So that same philosophy is we're going to take and make a leaner government. We want to be able to streamline the processes, really break it down to the bare bone, because we're going to have to restructure this and re-engineer everything that has happened. Because one of the things that we want to be able to do is have a good life here on Guam, and we're going to have to restructure it.
And we want the government to serve the people properly. It seems like we serve the government. We give the government tax money, and what they're doing with it, we don't know. We don't have a say. But with Charlie and I, we will make sure all the vehicles that are sitting out there abandoned are gone. I heard, who told us the other day, it costs $600 to get rid of a vehicle. That is so much BS involved in that, you know? Somebody is making so much money, all these favoritisms for the same people and the bidding process. That's got to go. I mean, to me, we can form reefs out of all this metal on Guam. It's not just cars. There are containers out there. There are, you know, I mean, even out in the middle of nowhere, there's junk everywhere.
And, you know, we've had a lot of conversations with people out there, and they're frustrated. We've talked to a lot of folks that don't actually vote. But we want to tell you that you've asked us to run. You've asked me personally to run. And so now I'm running. And so with your help, we'll be able to put everything in motion. Everything and all the frustrations that you have can be solved by you coming out and voting. You haven't voted in years in many elections. Please come out. This is very critical. I know we always say every election period is a pivotal point in our Guam, but we truly believe that 2026 is going to make or break Guam. Please come out and vote.
Please. And tourism, I'll tell you, I did a treasure hunt down in Timon for 11 years with the Japanese tourists and their children. And it was the most successful thing, and it worked. But our GVB, they just sit in their office. They're not doing anything to promote tourism. I said GVB should be out there, the employees cleaning up Tumon, figuring out ways to make it better, even helping people across the street. I mean, it's dangerous down there. One day you have these yellow shirt people helping you, or them, the next day you have nobody. And you know, the drivers on Guam are kind of rude. They don't stop for everybody like they should. When I come to the intersection by Outrigger or Deucet down there, I watch for people, and I watch them, and I tell them to go. And we need to be concerned. Guam has never been concerned about tourism.
We're offline again?
Were you guys okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm just waiting for you guys to wrap it up and then, because I don't want to hold him too long.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second, we'll make sure it's good.
It has been the lifeline, and it's great, but the government never paid much attention to it. They make the GVB a big political stint. Executives work there, going to Japan, having parties, inviting people here. I think we need to really make Guam nicer for everybody before we invite them here. How many oceans or how many different places on the ocean is it polluted? Somebody said there was 42 different sites that were polluted. EPA needs to figure out where this pollution is coming from and clean it up. And as far as cleaning the beaches, all around the island, we should be cleaning the beaches. Here at the Cove, I do it myself. And it's long. It's like a quarter of a mile long, 20 acres here, even the roadside. I keep it clean. If I depended on the government, it would be like everywhere else, just junk on the side of the road and no comprehensive pickup.
No, and that's one of the things that we want to be able to empower the people to take some of that back and not depend on the government. When we look at the different agencies, we have some amazing people working in these agencies, but we want to be able to give you the tools to be successful. Keyboards, just basic keyboards that have the letters that you can see exactly which keys you're punching in, systems that work, contracts that don't break you down. And we're seeing it now. It's unbelievable that we can't file our taxes. It's 2026 and somebody's holding the keys to this kingdom, and this is not the right approach. We should have a better contract ability to be able to negotiate, and this will never happen again.
Yes.
You both have some comments. Chris Frank said that you guys cannot do that essentially because there's a contract with DOD to keep Marine Corps traversable by military vehicles between both bases. That might be a longer topic of discussion. You have also Alencia MCG who says, I wish I was a registered voter on Guam. You both would get my vote. And maybe you would like to tell them that you are going to go and actually pick up your package
Yes,
today?
absolutely. Right after this.
That's the plan. We're going to the Election Commission afternoon and pick up the packet, and we need your help signing the petitions and supporting us and, thinking outside the box. Right now, nothing has changed. Like I said, I ran 40 years ago, and I'm so frustrated. I mean, tomorrow, I'm going to be 78 years old, okay? And nothing has gotten better for me. I mean, my business, it took me 36 years to make a profit on this property. But I stuck with it, and it worked. The government, the way they change governors and change people every 4 years, any good sound program can get lost right away. With us, we will privatize it and keep it going with the right people. And it'll stay that way. Guam is small. 160,000 people live here. There's no reason for things to be second world, and that's what it is right now. And all these people that are running for office, for governor, a lot for senator, they've had the opportunity to change things. They haven't done anything. What do they have to say they have done to make quality of life better for all of us here? Very frustrating.
Yeah, so one of the things that we're going to do is pretty much take that back to the efficiency of how to be able to manage this government. And I think, the discussions that Jeff and I have had is, about the things that we've put our entire, I took a risk with opening up a restaurant when everybody told me not to do it. But when you look at friends and family struggling, looking for different jobs, looking for opportunities, it was the right thing to do. Even though it was against the grain and everybody was telling me not to do it, we did it. And we're doing it now, and we're going to continue to do it. We have plenty of money. We just need to make sure that we're fiscally responsible to manage this money and make sure that we get everything we can to ensure that everybody has a good life here on Guam, and it can be done.
And we will make all your money transparent to you. Where your money goes, all the money that goes into tax and revenue, we will show you how we're spending it. Because right now, I don't believe anybody knows but the governor how all that money is spent. And there's a lot of it. I mean, just on the cars, it's $25,
The registration fees, yeah.
And then the other one, when you transfer equity on a car, you're paying 2%. That could be hundreds of dollars. Where does that money go? We want to go towards the roads. We want it to go things related to transportation.
And we don't want, we don't want the privatization, that word, to be a scary word, because it can actually be very good to look at different agencies that need the help, and privatizing certain agencies will help. And it doesn't mean that anybody's going to lose their job, but it actually could enhance. We want to be able to reward everybody who's doing an amazing job, and that comes with privatizing certain agencies.
In the beginning, everybody will be fine. We will be studying what is needed. We will right-size everything for the task, and we will reward people. And we'll give you Social Security if we privatize it and get away from the GovGuam retirement thing that has become another problem over the years, the funding and the spending and all that. So be aware, we are here for you, and we're going to make the changes, and please support us. I know you have relatives, you have friends, you have families, you have contracts, whatever. But when you go into the booth and you have 3 choices for governor, that's up to you who you choose. And we just want it to be us. We'll make the change.
Okay, with that, we're going to invite everybody to follow the next live stream, which will be happening as they are on their way up. And you're going to pick up your election packet, right?
Correct.
Today, right now, right after this, you'll be on your way.
Correct.
Okay, and final parting thoughts as you have Pacific Brown said, I believe you two will be awesome leaders for Guam, but our election system makes it nearly impossible for independent voices to break through at large voting in party states that drown out the community-rooted candidates, leaving many strong leaders sidelined before voters ever truly get to choose. But I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you.
And so
Thank
do
you.
we. So do we.
Alright.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
gentlemen, and I apologize to
Oh, no
Senator,
worries,
but
no
it was
worries.
very important announcement to
Congratulations
make.
again.
Thank you,
Good
Will.
luck.
Congrats. You did
Yeah.
it. So next Sunday, we have a plus for the team.
Alright,
Sorry about that.
it's gonna be position.
Oh, okay. I could be a little bit closer.
Those are expensive bags.
Yeah, so look how unpredictable life can be, right?
Yeah.
You
No,
always
that's
need to be prepared.
wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful announcement. I've always been a big believer in competition. I've always believed in the that ideas that are unchallenged grow weak.
Yeah.
And so, a new contestant into the political arena, that's an idea. That's challenging the current ideas that we have, and
Absolutely.
all it could do is make it stronger. And
Yeah.
so, I good luck to those gentlemen.
So let's tie this because actually Jeff just mentioned we know that you have your party. Let's talk about your party bill.
Yes, yes, yes. And so that is one of the things that I'm really trying to push this term is the No More Pari Act. And it basically does 2 things. It prevents the hiring of anybody who is within a certain blood sanguinity with another person, so you can't be hiring your brothers, your sisters, your immediate family. And the other thing it does is it makes it so that if that situation does happen, that there is family members in a similar agency or department, that you cannot be a direct supervisor over your family member.
So how is the bill moving? Is it going
Well,
anywhere?
right now it's in committee. We're trying to get the committee votes to get it out of committee, and so we can hear it in the upcoming sessions. And I think we have a good case to get it out here. And the reason I introduced it is because, there were a lot of high-profile stories about people just prominently hiring their family and just so out in the open, so
Right.
brazen. And it wasn't really because of that one issue, but that was kind of the the
Is
straw
there-
that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, what's the story behind it? What was your trigger to finally say, okay, we're stopping this? As I remember, the title in the newspaper was "The Farce Ends Now." So was there a particular event that triggered that decision? Or?
Yeah, it was the when I was seeing the stories of the Attorney General's office just hiring their family
I
members,
see.
fiance and brother, to the highest paid positions on the staff, with the Attorney General openly saying that, he's hiring them for their loyalty.
So I think it's important to mention because when, not everybody goes down to the legislative website, reads the bills. Not everybody's nerd like me. So, people need to know sometimes what inspires a decision to move a bill forward.
And so this bill is not targeting the Attorney General, it's not necessarily because of him, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Everybody knows somebody who has.
There's the expression, pari pari, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of embedded within the local politics culture. I've also.
But it's one of the things.
yeah.
But it's one of the things that erodes the public's faith in the system.
I
People.
agree.
How can people trust that the government is hiring the best people, the most qualified people, the people who should get these jobs through merit, when underneath the surface, everybody knows somebody who got a job because of who they knew, because their auntie is the supervisor and hired them, or their uncle, just stuff like that.
It's not what you do, is who you know.
Yeah,
right? Stuff
and
like that.
I want to introduce this bill so that we can get some standards of merit codified. Because it's not right. On the one hand, we're not getting necessarily the best people. We should be hiring people based on their abilities, their capabilities, and not because of loyalty.
Right.
You start hiring people based on loyalty, then you're going to start getting all sorts
That's
of
a whole different conversation,
Yeah.
about the transactions that occur.
the transaction. Yeah, and that is not what public service should be about. It should not be this rent-seeking behavior.
Absolutely.
I couldn't even imagine a world where I'm like, I'm gonna hire my wife and my brother and my sister,
cousin,
and because
auntie,
they
uncle.
just happen to be the best people for the job. And hey, it happens all the time in the private sector, but that's their right. If a business wants to
It's
exercise
private
some
sector.
if a
something,
private sector wants to exercise some nepotism, hey, more power to you. But here in the public sector, where these jobs are a service to the community, it should be based on merit. It should be based on qualification, and not because a family member hired you. And so will this solve all the nepotism issues in public sector? Probably not. It's like Jurassic Park. Life will find a way.
There we go.
But at the same time, I'm going to do my best to reinstate some faith that our government is working for the people and not working for the benefit of special interests or well-connected families.
I see that we agree on so many things, and it's funny, when you put a Republican and a Democrat in the same room and waiting to see a fight happen, and
Yeah.
now we saw someone that's on the independent side, and if you can analyze what we're talking about and what they were addressing, we all address the same thing. To me, is always the issue how we get there.
Yeah, and
But the
that's
core issues, the principles that combine, how to make things better and how to improve the lives of our community, it's the same. I'm so tired of being involved in the political war tug. And how do you see us moving forward and working together as, it doesn't, like left, right, it doesn't really matter to me anymore. Because to be frank, I do like a lot of the Democratic introduced bills, and I have some that are Republican introduced bills, which are great bills, and I always reiterate the same thing. Like it sometimes boggles my mind how that good bill never went out of committee. So I hope your bill will come out of committee, because we don't want that to happen. But let's move on to the other bill that you recently had like a lot of controversy. A lot of rebuke, even if you will. I actually came down and testified in support of your bill because, again, we need to stop with the politicization of certain issues. And since I've been here on island, I constantly hear maybe the last two wasn't as prominent, but before that, that issue about the decolonization. It was always out there in the open, and it was always discussed. And sadly, I know that there are those big voices that are, the most, I guess, vocal and loud in the room. But there are a lot of people like me, like you, and that we don't have the Chamorro blood in there, and we feel that since we're uprooted here, we have our children here, for many, many years. I might get in trouble, with the activists for this, but yeah, I came out in the open, and honestly, I felt like I was a little lamb in a lion's den. It was such an intimidating situation. Not only for you, but also for the very few of us who showed up in support of the bill. And it's still to this day, I'm kind of questioning the decision to allow any weaponry in there. It was quite intimidating, if I may. Yeah. It might be, yes, it might be cultural, but still, if you're not allowed to carry a gun in the legislature, shouldn't be carrying a spear. I mean, something like that. But I know that you got criticized about even introducing the idea. And a lot of your colleagues probably feel like the same, maybe 99% of your colleagues, I don't know, they're on the same page as the Chamorro activist groups. How can you describe your experience with arising from this? Because it was very emotional and very weird. I think it was different type of public hearing for me. So how did you come out of this whole experience?
Oh man, that was a very heavy day.
Yeah.
Very heavy day. It was a very emotional day. The people that came out to testify, they really poured their hearts out. And for anybody that went to those public hearings and testified, I listened. I felt every single word of what you said out there, and it weighs on me heavily. To get the testimony of the people. But for me, I legitimately believe that decolonization is one of the most, if not the most important thing affecting Guam, because it affects everything in our life. It is the biggest issue that has been on the back burner for far too long.
Yeah.
And the thing that inspired me to have this conversation, to even begin it, was former Congressman Underwood came to the legislature and briefed us that there were, I believe it was the Heritage Foundation think tank. They were floating the idea of a Guam CNMI merger and making them a state.
That's not an old idea. That I've heard about this effort. Actually, I know that Senator Jess Lujan is very much in favor of that option.
Yeah.
I know personally from Dr. Ron McNinch. I attended a lecture that he had for the new candidates back in 2022. He presented the whole history behind the issue and the efforts, and then of course the secret Guam study. That's when I found out about this effort and the secret Guam study done by the U.S. government that was never presented to our people.
Yep.
And then I also learned about the different options, and I do agree with Dr. McNish that we have an option that's not even on the ballot, and that is make our own deal.
Yeah. And so I'm somebody who's pro statehood. I would like to see Guam become a state, but I was deeply offended by the notion that there was this think tank in Washington, D.C. who was discussing the fate of Guam and the CNMI and just haphazardly putting them together like, hey, they're all island people and they're right next to each other. Close enough. No respect, no deference to the notion that we have vastly different cultures in terms of the way that Guam is not the CNMI. You can't just put them together and just be like, work's done. And it offended me that there was nobody from Guam, there was no input from Guam, there was nobody from Guam at that table. They were talking about our fate with no say. And
basically we have no say, folks. When have we had say, actually? Would you agree with that? We've never had a say what happens locally. If something flies over our heads from Washington, D.C., we just have to see it fly over and that's it. I mean, that's why I agree with you fully that this issue of decolonization has to happen.
And so I want, so even though they were presenting something that I wanted, statehood, I deeply want that. The way we get it matters.
I'm pretty sure that maybe majority of our people also want to be affiliated with the statehood, because I'm aware of a study that came out maybe 2 years ago. 47% of moms said that they prefer their babies to have the U.S. passport. So that means you're going to have to be a statehood if we move forward. There's no other way. And of course, what happens to the Chamorro diaspora that's currently living in the States? If we become independent, then they have to relinquish their status. Yeah. So it's a very complicated issue if we say, yes, we're going to go fully independent. I think the smartest way to go, and that's my personal opinion, would be let's face it, because there is no way we can be fully independent as of today. And if U.S. Congress doesn't grant us the statehood status, maybe we can go for the Commonwealth and negotiate that gradual step towards independence.
And for me, you know, as a personal person, as a citizen, I have my own preferences.
Of course.
But as a elected official, I am here as an instrument of the people. And so ultimately, whatever we choose in the plebiscite, I will honor that, regardless of my own personal feelings. If we say this is the direction, hey, then we're all in. This is the direction that we're going to go. But we can't even get to that point until we have one.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I did my due diligence. You know, I when I sat down with Melvin Juan, Pat Borja for the first time, I told him, like, hey, look, I'm really interested in pursuing this subject and this topic. Like, I want to help with this in a meaningful way. You know, I'm sure you've had plenty of senators say that, but I'm willing to go the distance on it.
And you went full
And
throttle.
so he gave me the study on decolonization. I read from cover to cover on that entire study, did my best to catch up on the history, learned things that I had no idea of.
It's a lot of history behind it.
And so, you know, I did interviews with him. I went across the island, and I had several town halls. I believe I had like 6 town halls with the intent of like trying to get feedback from the people.
So what was the feedback during the town halls?
So, you know, to understand the feedback, you have to understand what the problem is. And the problem is that in the Davis case, the ruling that we had on the books that we have a Chamorro only vote was
it was struck down in court because of race-based.
It was deemed unconstitutional, and so we cannot have a plebiscite unless we address that. And the provision that was problematic, that to be considered a native inhabitant, you had to be here in 1950 when the Organic Act was signed, or a descendant of somebody who was. And that's the provision that was struck down. And so my effort in the town halls was to try and go out there and figure out from the people, if it's not this definition, what is the definition we use to move forward? You know, I had tried the idea of compromise dates. You know, could we compromise to 97 or 1982? What are our other options to do it? And when we came down to the net of it, the overwhelming feedback was we cannot compromise on this date because 1950 was the date when a specific injury was done to the people of Guam by giving them U.S. citizenship without their consent.
Correct.
And so, okay, like I respect that feedback that there can be no compromise on this date. I'm not going to try and force a compromise in there. But if we can't compromise on what that definition is, then we need to revert to the last legal mechanism that we have used on Guam. And the last legal mechanism that we used on Guam is 1982. There was a plebiscite, and it was open to all voters.
Right, and the people actually voted for Commonwealth, as far as I remember.
Yes. They voted for Commonwealth, and well, it was 2 elections because they had to do a runoff. Yes. But one of them was a very low turnout election, but the final election, was a very high turnout election.
Yeah, I
So,
remember someone criticizing you during the
and
public hearing on that. Yes, there was a plebiscite and the people voted, but there was a lower. So you're saying that there was a higher turnout at the runoff.
there was a much higher turnout on the second election than there was in the first.
Okay.
I mean, we see that here too, right? People don't vote as much in the primary
Right.
versus the general election. But that was the last legal mechanism we had, and the people of Guam, they negotiated until 1996, and then when the negotiations stalled after 14 years,
Yeah.
they created the Office of Decolonization with the current definition now to basically start over on the process.
Right. And where are we at with that?
We're
we're still nowhere.
still on day
See,
zero.
this is what frustrates me the most. What I heard during the public hearing, and then of course the aftermath, it was something in the sense of this: regardless what we say and what we want to do, the U.S. is not going to listen to us. So at the end of the day, we just need to preserve our pride, which is something that every good Chamorro would do, any native inhabitant would do. But what is the point of us continuing the effort if even the people who fight for it believe that there's no way out of it?
Well, one of the things that surprised me when I did my study on this topic was, I had always assumed that there was, other countries had done a native inhabitant only vote and were able to achieve their political status aims. But when I look at the history of the United Nations and the United States, never once have they ever done a plebiscite that was native inhabitant and only and successful.
Right.
There's never been a successful native.
And they were running around the issue because you kept asking that question over and over during the hearing, and then it was like, nah.
The former congressman, he testified that the solution that we have was novel, that it's never been done before.
So what's the problem?
And so, as a lawmaker, one of the things I do is I make sure that if I'm introducing a new law, it helps if it's been tested in other jurisdictions. That
but sometimes you need to think outside of the box.
Sometimes
but this is so common in our legislation. Where we copy bills from California or somewhere else, like literally extracted from the code books in California, for example, or just say, okay, this is our law.
And the reason for that is because a lot of these laws have been tested in courts. So sometimes when you invent a new law, you run into novel legal problems that you've never seen before, like as we've seen with the Davis case. By trying to do something completely new, we've run into novel legal problems. So by borrowing things that have worked in the past in other locations or even in your own past, you're going to not run into the same legal troubles. And so that's why I went into our own legal history and went to I didn't even go to another state or another jurisdiction. I went to Guam's own history. And in 1982, they had a vote that was open to everybody.
And this is not a new idea.
And
it's been done before.
It's not a new idea.
It's just that we have to deal with this, emotional aspect of the issue and completely stifle the process.
And we got to take that with respect.
Absolutely,
I think when people realize that no other place in the world has done it the way Guam is asking us to do, we should have a conversation if that's how we want to keep going about it. Because really the only winners, if this bill doesn't make it through or no bill makes it through at all, is the status quo wins. And I got to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Organic Act. It's like, I don't want to be here to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Organic Act. I want to have the island decolonized. So, my father was the Speaker of the legislature when they signed the Commission of Decolonization into law in 1997. And I'm here in the legislature now, and it got me thinking. It's like, man, if knock on wood, if one of my kids wants to follow in their father's footsteps and join the legislature in the future, are they going to be dealing with the same problem?
Oh yes, I mean you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I want a world where my children don't have to go fix the problems we couldn't fix. I want them to be able to be lawyers or musicians or whatever they want to be in their life, because all the problems that my generation inherited, we were able to solve and fix as best we can before we passed on the baton to future generations.
Right.
Because that's ultimately, we don't really inherit anything from the past. We're really just borrowing it from the future.
Absolutely. So I wanted to move on to the latest news that I read about your efforts, and that was the letter you wrote to the Council of Japan. Because, of course, we know that there's this whole new initiative, the deep sea mining, that kind of stirred the environmental concerns here, and then come to find out there is also another potential hazard that's very close to our shores. And what's the name of the island? Minatorishima, something?
Yeah, Minatorishima.
Something like that.
On American maps, it's called the Marcus Islands.
Marcus Islands.
But they have a name for it in the Japanese tongue.
You know, your name made it to what is some Chinese outlet. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember.
The news. I think I had it somewhere, but
I don't think this is the first time I made it in news in the Chinese outlet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a China-based outlet. I'm like, interesting.
Yeah.
They're paying attention to what's happening.
Yeah,
in
no,
our region.
last year in my freshman term, one of the substantive resolutions that I introduced and passed was for the Guam legislature to support the Philippines in their affirmation that it's the West Philippine Sea and it's not the South China Sea. So from the right. So, I ain't gonna go visit a Chinese Disneyland anytime soon.
Right.
But I believe that, the things that happen outside our borders, they have effects on what happens here on Guam, as the war in Iran has shown.
I've said that just a few weeks ago, right here on this podcast, because I've been criticized many times that, you focus too much on the outside. And I always said, yes, but what happens over there
affects us here.
We suffer here just like a couple of days before the Iran war. That was my statement, and boom, right away, 3 days later, the war breaks. Now we're talking about gas prices. We're talking about potential shortages. We're talking all of that suffrage that we need to, embrace, basically, due to something that's happening way over there, and we had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, when the war first broke out, I actually sat in on a recorded meeting of the Council of Foreign Relations, where they talked about the effects that would happen in Iran. And when I came back from the meeting, I did my best to sound the alarm locally that, hey, this is like a typhoon that's coming. We need to prepare.
More like COVID 2.0, but without the infection.
Exactly.
Because I keep hearing that there's countries already that are limiting the usage of oil and gas, and there's calls for kind of stay at home, don't travel, if you can, work from home. A very similar kind of vibe to it without the sickness.
Yeah, and this thing that's happening in Japan is right along that same line. The deep sea mining that we're worried about here locally on Guam, they're about to do the same deep sea mining in the neighboring region right next to our own exclusive economic zone. But not, and the way I found out about this was not through that issue, the deep sea mining, but in relation to stories coming out of Japan that they were going to use those same islands as the nuclear waste storage for their most highly radioactive nuclear waste. Like the stuff that they can't handle themselves, they're putting hundreds of thousands of miles between them and mainland Japan. But it puts it less than 1,000 miles
from here.
Yeah, depending on what part of the island chain they put it on, it's going to be less than 1,000 miles away from Guam. And with the idea of rising sea levels, looking at the elevations of those chain of islands, it's, these nuclear materials could potentially last hundreds, if not thousands of years. And we're looking on a time scale of decade that those islands could be overrun by water. So that these things that they're burying underground to store there until it stops being so radioactive could be underwater, could be affecting our oceans nearby us. So not only are they putting nuclear material into those islands, they're doing deep sea mining around those islands, and it sounds like they're doing it in partnership with the United States. So
Right.
it,
So
so
again,
we can't even rely on the United States to be a advocate for us in that, because they seem to be partnering with the Japanese to extract from the seafloor.
yeah, I completely agree. And sadly, Guam has always been at the end of the stick of everything. And as much as we are very patriotic here on island and we support our troops and all the people that have fought for the United States, we cannot forget about the fact that we're considered as a little tiny speck on the map, and we don't matter to them. So it's a very
It's one of those things
disheartening,
political
yeah,
status could help us with.
Exactly, and it's a very disheartening thing, and it's very sad when you sit down and realize it at the end of the day. So, I mean, people like you and me who deeply care about what happens next, and we've put our hats over there in the ring, and we want to make a change. Let's wrap this conversation with what is your final message for today to our voters, and what is the message of hope?
My message of hope is that the people of Guam have a wonderful, good soul about them. And with that foundation, we can survive anything.
We're
With that,
resilient.
we are resilient people. We are going to survive this. There are times that are going to be tough. We may, at the end of this war, we may be looking at a world that we don't recognize anymore. But, you know, look to your neighbors, look to each other, look to that community you should be building yourself, and together we can survive it all. And, you know, I ask the people of Guam to please give me an opportunity to continue serving as your senator. As your senator, as a person who lives here on Guam, I'm raising my own family here on Guam. That is the deepest commitment I can make to the island. Instead of moving, transplanting my family somewhere else where we could better make it.
Because you could pick up and go to
Because
the state.
I could pick
Yeah.
up in the States. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a whole life and infrastructure and places that I can go to.
And yet you chose
But
to
I
stay
choose
here.
to stay here. I not only chose to stay here, I chose to raise my family here. And so I have all the incentive in the world to make Guam as great as we could possibly make it. And I just want to ask the people of Guam for their trust to continue that mission, so that way when my children are grown up and they're growing up alongside your children, they are having the best
Life experience they can.
life experience they can, because they deserve it.
They
They
do.
deserve to have a better life than what we grew up in, and I'm going to do my damnedest to do that. And as a senator, as somebody who's coming up in this generation, I'm recognizing that we are going to inherit all this infrastructure in this island when a lot of this infrastructure is reaching the end of their useful life. And so we are going to be the generation that rebuilds, that maintains, that reforms. And so I want to be part of that. I want to be part of the reforms and the changes and the rebuilding of the island, because the island needs to be rebuilt.
Amen.
Whether or not we like it, want to do it or not, these things are failing on our watch, whether it's our fault or not.
Right.
And so we got to answer the call. We got to make the island as great as we can, so that way
Do what you do best. Do
what
what
we do-
you can. And
do what
just,
you can.
Because if you don't try, then you fail already.
Yeah, and it's my goal that when my time is done here, that I leave the island better than I found it.
Absolutely, I agree. And Andrea, do we have any further questions for Senator
At the
Parkinson?
moment, no.
No, not from the audience.
And there are some people who will be leaving comments, and you can look at that over time as well.
Thank you.
Just to address any of the guys.
All right. So with that, folks, thank you so much for joining me. I
Yes.
know you are very busy, and of course,
Yes, lots
you-
of fires
yeah, a
to
lot
put
of-
out.
Yeah,
Lots
a
of
lot
fires to
thi-
put out.
Yeah, a lot of things on your plate, but thank you so much.
Of course.
I-
I'm always
I-
happy to be accountable to the people.
Absolutely, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I mean,
I
this
did.
is-
No, like
this is always
this flew by
the
so
effort,
fast.
right?
Yeah,
It's
so
the effort, like, hey, let's
happy to
just
come by anytime.
flow. Just say it as it is, and
Well, you know, I really appreciate
yeah.
that about like the long form conversation, because the
Absolutely.
thing I noticed in like the smaller conversations, you know, on like the more mainstream news, it's such a short time, and you know, it's hard to really get a real sense of who somebody is.
That's why I wanted
Be-
to do this.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because you know, you could
Yeah.
fake who you are for a short amount of time,
Yeah.
but over the scale of hours, days, years, the character of somebody comes out. And I can't fake who I am for 3 hours. I just don't got that in me. Who I am, that's gonna spill out, And so I hope I hope who I am gives confidence to the people of Guam that there is somebody paying attention to the issues inside and outside of our borders and doing the best they can, and who is you can trust when you're not looking.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, folks. And please be sure to tune in later on for the, pickup of the packet, right? They're going?
Yes,
And are going to be live?
So we should be live in about maybe 15 minutes
Okay.
again.
So there we go. We have a new candidate team on. Man, this is going to be such a interesting race. So good luck to everyone.
Good luck to everyone.
Including our new additions. And once again, I'm Bistra Mendiola, and this is the Hafa Hour podcast, the greatest independent talk show where we say it as it is. Join us on Sunday again at 10:30, and we'll continue the conversation. Adios.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Welcome to Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye. Over a diagram, hear that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our start up loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. How good nya to man, everybody has one. No wish on this ship. No fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth. Watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered.
Story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
We're coming.
Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Over a diagram, hear that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our start up loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. How good nya to man, everybody has one. No wish on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it don't filter it. Guam source for true, sick a year we deliver. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. Dedo to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you. Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to 2 months, everybody as one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam unfiltered. Everybody now, one filtered. White ladies bridge when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into half an hour, Guam. Welcome to Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Over a die Guam, hear that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our start up loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. How good to 2 months, everybody has one. No wish on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam unfiltered. Dedo to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you. Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to 2 months, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam unfiltered. Everybody now, one filtered. White ladies bridge when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into half an hour, Guam. chant again.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Good. Well, I get approval on the. Oh, that's right. Yeah, for them. So.
You're live.
Hello, Jeff Pleadwell and Charlie Hermosa up here at the Guam Election Commission. We're going to go inside and pick up our packet and see what we need to do for the election. Come with us.
Hello, sir. How are you? I'm good. Thank you. How are you? How are you? Good to see you guys. How can I help you? How can I?
We would like to pick up a packet for a gubernatorial team,
Sure, of course, of course.
and we'd like some extra petitions, please.
Oh,
What's your name?
Tom.
Tom?
So, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll get you the packet. How you guys doing?
Good. It's going to be a little bit of a expedited signature.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is Maria here?
No, I'm so sorry for she's actually off island. She'll be back next week.
So, one of the questions we have is,
Yes, sir.
how many petitions can an individual sign for government?
What?
So if it's independent,
Yes, that is correct. So that you're limited, then the amount of signatures you are required to sign for is limited to the number of offices. So take, for example, if it's senators, you can sign 15 different petitions. In the case of the gubernatorial teams, it's only one office for governor, lieutenant governor, you can only sign one petition. Now, the way we work that out is we do it in a first come, first served basis. Whoever files the petition first and whatever name that is on there, that name will be credited towards that petition.
Got it. And has any candidate already submitted their?
Yes, I believe there's two teams that have filed for governor. I believe it's the Atacama team and the Knox team. Check. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them.
Hey, Tom, also real quickly, the people signing need to be registered voters also.
Yes, that's correct.
nominate.
Seems like an alumni association.
Just know that if you plan to make any copies in
No, I actually went to the
and you want it 40.
Yeah, it's I think 600. That's right.
The 31.
Yes.
How many signatures per page?
20.
Oh, so we have.
So, yeah, so just know that you're gonna go ahead and fill out all the information and.
Right now.
Stop putting it in.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Make sure that whoever is signing your petition, that they just upload it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then also in the back, information that's gonna fill that.
And the circulator has to be a registered signature.
Yes, yes. It's your birthday? No?
40 years ago.
Okay. So this is what I call the Bible, right? It's a candidate Bible. It has everything that you need to know. We do have here a table of contents. The required signature we need.
You want an extra one, please?
Okay, and also in the back of the candidate's handbook, we do have a list of the seminars we had.
Oh, and then guys, we really do recommend, at least it doesn't have to be you guys to attend, at least for committee members or the key people involved in the committee to attend the seminar. There has been some changes to the what do you call it, the campaign finance laws. One of them, of course, being the quarterly filing. So those are and all these other things will be highlighted.
Oh, okay. So not monthly anymore.
No, it wasn't monthly. It was more so. The trigger points were like 10 days prior to the election.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So now this one is more in line with the federal standard of a quarterly reporting period.
Yeah. Okay. Then we do have your certification of qualification. This document needs to be notarized. You need to be present here with your photo ID if you'd like for our office to notarize.
You do that now.
Yes, we should notarize it. Or the, or,
Do this right now, or
no, not yet, not yet. When you submit your package.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that one was for the governor, and this is for lieutenant governor.
Okay.
Then we have your campaign finance manual. This one here is a Bible for your filing for your campaign finances. If you have any questions, these here, it's really helpful, the way that Ms. Luna is with it. This one is very good, so you would want to study on this one as well. Okay? So it's just one. Certification of qualification, that's good. Campaign finance manual. Then we have your organizational report form. Okay, you want to fill this out as well. You'll have to make sure you initial every single page. Okay, it's fun. Okay, do you guys have a open campaign account?
No, not yet.
Okay, so this is the form that the bank usually uses.
Okay.
Yeah, so I believe it has to get stamped received by us.
Okay.
So you can use it too. Then we have your election campaign contributions and expenditures report. This document as well has to be notarized. If you don't have a notary, we do have notaries here. You just have to be present.
Okay.
And this also has to be initialed on every single page.
And we can do it on Excel and print it out.
Yes, thank you for saying that because you do need to send in an electronic copy. There's two.
Let's see. Where are we at?
We are at we did the organizational report. Okay, we did the election campaigns. There's two. Now we are at the financial disclosure manual. This one here will help you fill out your financial disclosure form, statement of assets and income. Okay, there's one. Yeah, there's one for you and then one for them. This one is not a notary. A lot of people do get confused about it. Just date and sign. Okay, every page also has to be initialed. Then we have your candidate's information card, one for governor, one for lieutenant governor. Okay, if you're gonna go ahead and allow us to issue out your contact information, you'll check mark it. If not, just leave, don't check. Any questions on this? Then we have your affidavit of non-conviction. This is for lieutenant governor and governor. Okay, this has to be within 30 days.
Conviction is a crime.
Yeah, you have any conviction.
Okay.
One for you, one for you.
And sorry, gentlemen, if I may ask, is this for a you guys running under a party or
Independent?
Independent. Okay. Thank you for letting me. So the only thing I'm gonna change out is the petition is a little bit different. It's gonna indicate independent or what. So if you notice, the petition did say what party. It's just pretty much gonna change the wordings and everything like that. But for the most part, the packet is pretty much the same. All right.
Okay.
Let me just go get that, change that out.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll have them just going into the front page here.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All right, and then this is the checklist. You're gonna bring this with you when you're gonna come and file with us. That way we can go ahead and check what you have submitted. And there is also a filing fee of $100, cash and a check. Okay, if you're gonna write a check, it'll be written out to Troy. Any questions? Okay. Also know that there is police and court clearance that is required for the both of you. Okay, it must be within the 30 days. Court clearances we require the U.S. District Court and Superior Court of Guam. Okay, and this is it for your packet. Mr. Stenogson is gonna go ahead and prepare your nominating. Any questions from the rest of you? No?
So we can move that.
Yes.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, do that extra. Did you want a manual for yourself? For the candidate's handbook, the
Yes.
certification and public disclosure, just so
The
you.
financial and the candidate's handbook.
Okay, I'll show you. Okay, Mr. Jen, if I can go ahead and just have you indicate who you're receiving the packet for. And I'll-
Sure, for those both,
Or, yes, okay.
put Charlie's name in.
Yeah. And. I'll give you a copy.
Well, we went through everything and all looks good. Lucky we got Ross to help us. Gotta come up with the names for these things.
Or,
We're gonna have a committee or.
oh, yeah, the committee.
Okay, so this is the candidate packet sign up form. I can go ahead and sign it.
It's easy fix. You just get in there and pass the bill or give yourself a big raise and stuff up for the office. That's 2 years, right?
Charlie fill this out too? Request his name with just me.
Yes. Yeah. You can request her because whoever can come in can.
Just
pick
one?
up. Well, you guys can put both, but it doesn't matter.
Watch over, I got it.
And then they did mention May 1st is the deadline, 5 p.m. 500 signatures minimum. So we do ask that when you guys do come into file that everything be completed, with the exception, of course, notary parts. We can take care of no charge, but your petition packet should have a minimum of 500 signatures.
So we have 60 of these.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna do another 30. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then of course, if you guys sign in, do you have any questions or what? Just thank you very much. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the seminar, or did you want to just let us know?
We'll probably have somebody come in and find out. We'll show you.
Thank you for Friday. She wants you to talk outside after.
You want us to watch out the door?
She wants you to talk and tell the people where to come and sign the petitions and all of that.
Thank you.
You go. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Yeah, right.
Appreciate it.
Very good. Guys, just take a picture in front of the Guam Election Commission seal, and then we'll take a picture of the flag. All right, gentlemen. One time over here. 1, 2, 3. All right, more time. One more. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Thank you. You do with the flag? Straight. There you go. I think you can hold it in this hand, so it's just like you're holding it like. Okay. Hey, 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Sure. Tell me again. Oh, okay. All right. Very nice. Wow. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Can I get a video of you gentlemen? 1 second. A couple questions, I think. That's good. All right.
All right, can't wait to see this tomorrow. When you gonna quit?
This is probably be up by tonight.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Oh,
No, you're good. Okay. All right. For everybody that hasn't already heard, doesn't watch the podcast, for the rest of the island residents, what are you folks here to do today?
We're picking up our package to run for governor and lieutenant governor as independent candidates.
I'm sorry, wait, hold on. Let me try one more time. Let's do this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh. Please tell me who you are and what we're doing here today.
I'm Jeffrey Pleadwell.
I'm Charlie Hermosa.
We are picking up our package here to run for the office of governor and lieutenant governor of Guam in 2026.
At the front, I have to ask, because it is April 1st, it's April Fool's Day, but you guys have indicated you're serious about this run.
Yes.
We're not fooling. We feel that all the politicians in front of us, and we're not even politicians, but the people that ran for office have fooled the people of Guam. Because since I ran 40 years ago,
Things have gotten worse, not better. And we're just disgusted, and we want to see more government working for the people and not against the people and for their own benefit.
I know, Mr. Hermosa, you've entertained a run for governor before. You changed your mind, but we're back at it. What made you guys decide to pull the trigger and to run together?
Yes, absolutely. I'm back at it. You know, I think that I had a lot of folks pushing me to run, whether it was for gubernatorial or for senator. But in talking with Jeff, I think in the last week I made up my mind, and Jeff asked me, and I decided to say yes because there was a little bit of frustration. You'll always get transparency from me. I was very frustrated on what's been going on with the island, and I just can't sit back and just watch everything just go to waste. So I decided to run with Jeff, pick up the packet as an independent, and make a change for Guam.
And Mr. Pleadwell, what made you decide to run?
Well, I ran 40 years ago in 1986, and I've been waiting for things to get better. I've voted every election, but I have noticed things have gotten worse, not better. And the people of Guam are not served properly by the politicians, by the governor. And Charlie and I, being from the private sector and more concerned about business, and especially right now, we know all the problems we're having on Guam with the loss of tourism and all the business problems. We also know that all the agencies need help, and we will privatize where we need to. We will keep the employees, and we'll make this better for everybody.
My understanding is you're not running as Democrats, you're not running as Republicans this year.
Independent.
Independent. We want the flexibility to do what is needed and not be held back by party constraints.
What specific things do you gentlemen bring to the table that you think makes you a good choice for voters?
We're both in the restaurant business, and you know that the restaurant business is a big part of Guam and is suffering right now. I am very much into tourism and keeping Jeff's Pirates Cove one of the cleanest, best places, all 20 acres of it. I watch the government not doing their job. I have always done my job to make it best for my guests and the people of Guam.
You know, I'm a veteran, I'm an educator. I come back, my background is in the supply chain, in the shipping industry. So a lot of those dynamics are very close to me because we see it, we live it. Supply chain should be at the top of everybody's mind right now as far as with everything that's going on in the world today. I don't really see anything happening to be able to adjust so that people can have the means to be able to live well on the island. We should not even have any ounce of poverty on the island, but yet we do. The cost of living here is going skyrocketing and nobody's really doing anything about it. I want to be able to take care of our veterans. I want to be able to find ways to be able to utilize the money that's there for them and utilize it in a way that really makes a difference for them. On the education portion, I will challenge anybody that tells me we don't have the workforce to bring new industries here to the island. I will challenge anyone, and we're going to show that and put where the money needs to be put in order to advance technology and bring new industries to the island.
You touched on a couple things there, but first 100 days of the Pleadwell Hermosa administration, what would you guys want to get accomplished?
We would like to review how the money is being spent, how many people are actually needed. We want to keep the best people. We want to privatize a lot of the utilities and areas that we feel need to be privatized. We want to keep as many people as we can, but we want it to run right. We want it to be a lean machine, and we want transparency. The people don't even know where their tax money is going. And I feel as a businessman, we have been overtaxed and underserved by all the government so far.
In the first 100 days, we're going to look at ways to be able to give money back to the people. We need to be able to give money back to the people so that they have the means to be able to spend. That's the only way the small businesses are going to be able to really take the next leap as far as being able to stay open. The other part is the fact that we're going to be able to flesh out and look at all the efficiencies throughout the government. The playbook has been written. Everybody's seen how the Trump administration has been able to really cut out the ways or the fat that made the government very inefficient. It's lean. We want to get it to a lean way to be able to run things, to be able to give the agencies what they need. You know, keyboards that have letters on it so they know exactly what they're typing, equipment for them to be able to be successful. and the law enforcement, fire department, airport, all the agencies, they need help. And we're going to be able to put that into motion by seeing exactly, we know exactly, we're not going to say the same things over and over. Everybody's heard it for the last 20, 30, 40 years as far as what's wrong with the island. It's time to really listen to the people and do exactly what they're telling us to do.
We would like to consolidate the agencies under one roof as much as possible in one area so everybody could have like one-stop government. And we want to see a new prison and we want rehab. The drug problem on Guam is out of control. And we want to look at ways to fix that. And we will spend the money the right way to hire the right people. If we have to bring people from off island to train our people, we'll do that. But we want it to be right. Guam's a small place, but everything is run wrong.
And we want to be able to work with our island nations as well, right? With the FSM, Palau, Marshall Islands. We want to be able to work collectively because we're a mix, right? We're a mix of people here living on Guam. And so we want to be able to merge all the cultures so that we all work together in one common goal. The reality is that in order for us to be able to move forward, we're going to make some tough changes. And so the efficiencies that we want to be able to bring to the government, to be able to manage the monies better, so that the money's actually going to where it's really needed. And when Jeff touched on the drug epidemic right now, we need to be able to find ways to find and cut it and abolish it in the most effective way possible, and then rehab our people and get them back to a point where they're human beings. We got to rehab them and put it back into society so that they can actually have their own way to be able to be successful as well.
And also, we would like to farm and fish and produce for ourselves and not depend on ships coming from the United States for our produce that's already 3 weeks old. We want to put people to work, but we want them to work at being self-sufficient here on Guam. We have no idea what would happen if shipping was cut off. We have to be ready for that. And we need people to want to work, and we need the government to support programs through the university in agriculture, fishing, and whatever it takes to feed people.
And work and be able to pay our people well. Everybody, that's our goal. I mean, the reason why I'm running and the reason why I said yes was because it was one thing, my love for the people and my love for the island. I want everybody to be able to live well on this island, for everybody not to suffer so that there is no poverty. We want to be able to, and we can do it. We have the money. We just need to be able to manage it well.
I look at Guam as one people. All the people from the outer islands that come here and choose Guam as their home need to be represented. And if I was to think about statehood, that's another consideration. The United States of Micronesia, capital Guam. And I like the name Guam. I don't like the name Guam.
One last question. You two are running as independents. It's been said that's a little bit of a tougher ask to get on to the general election. There are different requirements than if you run with a party. Mr. Pridwell, you dealt with that back in 1986. How are you going to make it? What's going to be different this time?
Well, we're getting some good expert outside advice from friends that are going to help us figure out how to do this right and legally.
You know, I'm going to take the Marine Corps approach. I feel like we're running out of ammo, low on food, and surrounded by the enemy, but we're just getting started. We're not going to give up the fight.
So people want to change, vote for us. I have noticed every election, people says they're going to change things. Nobody has done it. It's all talk. It's no action.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
I asked earlier, but are you going to join in Dr. Mitch's lawsuit regarding the independent primary?
How does that work?
I don't know. That's up to him and I to discuss.
Okay.
That's something I can't decide here.
Thank you very much. Thanks, sir. Yeah. Best of luck.
Get off of here.
Focus on the campaign.
Excuse me. So, can you please mention this place, barrels and beans, that's cards for, that's not too bad. And that's where the petitions will be available at both locations. So anybody that wants to help us come in.
Beans and barrels.
Beans and barrels and like.
All right, well, petitions,
You can come and stand for your support us. We need donations.
Andrea says to ask for the interview video. Andrea says to ask for the interview video.
Can you send us the interview video?
I'm sorry, I cannot. That is that is property of the Pacific Daily News. Is that him and Andrea Pelotoni on there? Who's Andrea?
This is Amber Bach,
Oh, okay.
San Nicholas.
Okay, so you and Charlie's gonna.
You can always reshare the video.
You can talk about I don't know. I just write stories.
Who's your boss?
Jay James. Yeah.
Brian James?
That's the husband. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so you and Charlie tell everybody where they can come and sign the petition.
You can come and sign the petitions at Jeff's Pirates Cove,
Or at Beans and Barrels in my team.
and we'll be circulating them around the island with friends.
Okay, thank you.
You guys are great interview.
He's coming with us.
Oh.
He wants you to get people excited to vote for you.
You want change, this is the only way you're gonna get it. The other candidates have all had a chance to change Guam. I don't see any changes made by any one of them. Promises, promises, promises. If I tell you something, you can take it to the bank.
Yeah.
You got my bag there.
Welcome to Hafa, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye. Oh, for I die Guam. Hear that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map. One direction coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Hagrotnya tutumon, everybody has one. No wish on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa, Guam unfiltered. Hafa, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy. Sing it to
Sorry you show up. What's the ship?
They go to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talofofo in the rhythm. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo, Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just shoot to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, they the real talk run. Everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Half an hour, Guam unfiltered. Sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, here we deliver it. Guam unfiltered.
So, for this vote for whatever you want. Exactly.
Everybody know unfiltered.
You're a good man. Take care there, right?
White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Half an hour, Guam
Andrea wants us to record some games after the live experience.
Sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Half an Hour Guam. Well, Guam. Hear that I come alive from just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our start up loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Clap clap. Leaning close, let the real talk run. How good to man, everybody has one. No wish on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa, Guam unfiltered. Hafa, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true sika, yeah, we deliver. Hafa, Guam unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo, Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to 2 months, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam unfiltered. Everybody now, unfiltered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Hafa hour, Guam unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Hafa hour, Guam.
Time to go.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.